Welcome to the Grab Your Why podcast with me, your host, Dr. G, where we talk about Black men and who we are, not just what we do. And we explore conversations about our relationships with ourselves, each other, and society. And today, my good brother Troy Kyles is on the podcast. Man, how you doing today, bro?
Blessed, man. Blessed. Definitely a right on time convo. So I'm happy to be here with you, bro.
That's what's up, man. That's what's up. Yeah, I know we were talking before you came on. Um, I asked you how you're doing, and funny enough, I didn't even mention this, but I'm working on another solo episode where I'm talking about the Black men's emotional spectrum and how a lot of times we'll be like, "I'm good," or "I'm straight," and we kind of reduce everything to that. But you were sharing a little bit more, kind of like the last few months, and you went a little bit more in depth, and that's one of the things I appreciate about you. We can always go deeper. I always feel comfortable going like, "Oh yeah, we can get underneath that first layer." So, um, yeah, man, I appreciate you being on, and a lot of different ways we could go with this, and a lot of different things we could discuss. But I really did want to touch on in thinking about this in three ways. All right, our relationships with ourselves, each other, society. I really want to start with our relationship with each other and how we first connected. I'm curious. I want to hear it from you. Like, what is your recollection of how we first connected, man?
I had to think about it because we never actually met. It was work related. I want to say it was pandemic time. We was working at a college STEM oriented org for Black youth and all national. So it's probably like my first like remote role and opportunity. And couple little breakout sessions, couple little break, but she was always cool. We always laugh, hit it off, and you know, um, have good energy. So that was 2019, I think. 2020, somewhere around that time. And yeah, I don't even think we even like kept in contact. It was just kind of, the rigors of just working in the summers, grinding it out and dealing with youth. And that's how it was, bro. It was really that simple. I just know we would always laugh and kick it. I feel like sometimes when you work, you always know the one person that's like, we thinking the same thing that I'm thinking right now. So it was a lot of that non-verbal, I think, energy. And then blessings to know over the past year we got closer, man, for sure.
Yeah. Yeah, that's real. No, I was thinking about it too, and similar. Yeah, man. It was with Smash, and the thing I remember about you, it was like, yeah, you were always cool people. Like you said, it was all virtual, but whenever we were in the same kind of virtual spaces, it was like, all right, cool. I remember this guy. I remember his name. He's always solid. Whenever he talks, he's contributing. You know what I mean? Something positive to the conversation. He's always adding value, and he's solid. So. Um, and like you said, we didn't keep in touch, but years later, when the opportunity came up at the Hidden Genius Project, I saw your name and I was like, oh yeah, hold on, I know that brother. And so it was immediately
Right.
like I recognized and it was a positive, connection between your name and seeing your name pop up for the role. Um, I know how much you wanted to get into that. But
We here, we can, yeah.
yeah. So yeah, what was that? Yeah, I want to hear. Yeah, what was that for you when we did reconnect with 5, 6 years later? Yeah, what was that?
I would say it was definitely I've worked in so many spaces. I never burn a bridge when I leave a space. Even if it's a space I ain't had no business in, one thing Imma do is do it with integrity and Imma own it. So I feel like when I saw just me being a career coach, I had to take the advice and coaching that I give my clients and my fellows. Like, if you got a common connection at this org, reach out to them. So and I think my ask is always, I'm pretty sure because I use similar wording. So this is $1 million worth of game. It's just, I just need help amplifying my application. Like whether you want to give me a referral, I know that's a lot of credit that I'm asking to put on you because you never had to report to me. We worked at an org, but my work performance wasn't necessarily your responsibility to oversee. So I think for me, that was the main ask. You told me that you make sure that the right eyes get on the app and get in the interview. And I think the one thing I appreciated because how I operated, like it was what you didn't say that let me know everything I need to know about my job. Like you didn't say much. You was like, you could do the job. And I applied for two roles and I was just like, man, I don't want to be the captain of this yacht, but just have me on the boat and I'm cool. And I think through there, I think it was like I interviewed for one role and then what happened was in that interview, they like, you need to be running this site. And that's how it happened. And here I am a year later through trial and tribulations, man. I'm still grinding it out, man. I'm still grinding it out, boy.
Yeah. No, that's spot on, man. I remember, yeah, when you reached out, I feel like we had a conversation and yeah, look, I'm always try to keep it 100 with anybody, even and like you said, even if I don't say all the things, right? Like I'm gonna let you fill in some spaces, right? So sometimes it's in what I don't say, but yeah, man, I think for me it was like once we talked, I'm like, okay, I already know this guy is solid. We had a cool rapport, but then once we talked and you like broke down what you had done, I'm like, oh
You
yeah,
didn't even know.
yeah, I didn't even. I'm like, oh, this is a no brainer. Like, yeah, you. So
Yeah.
for me, man. I guess I've always felt like if I'm ever in a position to, um, support somebody, lift them up, put them on, whatever that is. Like, yeah, that's easy, and I think for you, like you had all the talent and the experience and everything, so it was like, okay, cool. Like you said, let me make sure that people are aware that this is the guy, and I did. I was very clear, like, no, this is the guy. He's the guy. He needs to be, the captain of the ship, and it worked out that way. So but completely 100% earned by you. Um,
Sure.
I,
Which
I
I
think,
appreciate.
yeah, definitely, man. I think part of the what it makes me think about in terms of the theme of the podcast of Grab Your Why is like having black men in certain roles, right? And not even that I want to. This ain't a job, focused podcast, but having black men in certain roles. Where you can have that authenticity, and just like, yeah, I'm gonna give you space. Like, yeah, you got my ear. I'm gonna give you time. Like, yeah, let's connect. That that can make a difference, man. I think it's important that we because I could have been a hater, right? I could have been a hater too. I could have been a blocker. I could have been like, nah, I don't got time. Yeah,
People be hating. People
people
be
do be
hating.
hating,
People
right?
listen, people can hate through like half-ass support. Like I think that's the worst way to hate is like to half-ass support me. And it's like, you don't want me there because I may have tricked you out of your spot. And I feel like for me, man, like I don't want your spot. Like I've told you how I'm coming. Like it's crazy how you say to go back on what you said, and I'll let you pick up. You said like the talent, and it's crazy because having talent in a bunch of isolated spaces, it causes such confusion and clutter, and it actually creates a feeling of doubt. Like, why is it taking me so many spaces to figure out like my path? And it's just like it's a journey, it's a spectrum. Like, I feel like every space I've been at, I've been the only. So I think just to see and I'm not the only, isn't just black male. It could be age, it could be demographic, it could be culture. I could work with a bunch of women, I could work with a bunch of white people, I could work with a bunch of younger people. I could be the youngest person there working with a bunch of older people. So I feel like coming to the Hidden Genius and working with you as like my first point of entry, and then tapping in with Frank. That's been like a blessing for me beyond it. I knew we was gonna be cool. I knew we was gonna be cool beyond that from that moment, and it definitely solidified that. Like when we kicked it in Detroit, because that's my second home. So when we kicked it in Detroit, like you stamped in the D because you didn't want the starters. If anybody know if you want the starters in Detroit, it's like that's a real down home spot, man. So I appreciate that. And I don't take everybody to my spot either. So
Yeah.
I'm very particular. But I will say to the point though, like that talent piece is something that I think this platform has made me figure out what my talent is and been open to where I show that. And I think now is a it's imperative that I do that now, just given the state of the org, the state of my work, and how I'm feeling, and all the things personally more than professionally. I think, yeah, for sure, bro, for sure.
You man, so you touched on so many things, so many places we could go. So when you talk about, um, man, I'm trying to figure out where I would wanna where I wanna go first. Definitely, I felt like, yeah, when we got to, because I've only seen you. This is wild, man. I've only seen you in person twice
Yep,
ever, as
the
far as I know.
shy, yeah, Chicago and Detroit.
Chicago
That was it.
and Detroit, yep. And so the first time was in Chicago, and that was like, yeah, this brother is exactly who I've known him to be, right? Like you are who you are, and I can appreciate that, right? There's no I'm gonna get this version of you here and this version. It's like, nah,
Nah,
this is a solid brother. This is who he is. We all pulled up to Chicago, and that was that. And then Detroit, yeah, we got to kick it and like really, really share, really like chop it
yes,
up.
yes,
And I think that's part of I think the other thing that I think is cool is like, even though we were in a professional space, we made room for each other to be human. And we saw
hmm
each other and see each other as human first. It's like, nah, you're a black man out here. We're both trying to do impactful work with these black boys. Like you said, we both have talent in a number of different ways, in a number of different areas. But here we are, like I, I'm here to be in this space with you, and whatever ways are needed is what I kind of felt. I felt like we both gave each other space, have given each other space to be, and that can be unique, man. Unfortunately, I wish that was like a norm, but it's not always a norm, right? Like you might be somewhere and like you say, it'd be some haters, and it's not always just haters. It's just not even people don't know how to make space for other people to be. And that's special to me, man, to be able to have another black man who's like, nah, I see you, bro. Actually, we don't have to talk about the work right now. You got life happening. Like,
for sure,
let's
for
deal with the life
sure.
shit. You know what I
For
mean?
sure, because you
Yeah.
definitely shared. You definitely shared. I feel like that's when I I'm a quick I'm a quick judge of character, like a quick study, and I think it's only one thing I will ever judge a man off is composure. Like keep your composure regardless of what's going on. Like you can have the shittiest day, the best day. Keep your composure because if you gloating about the highs and then you real shut down and the asshole and the lows, like I ain't really rocking with that. So I feel like when you shared about everything that's going on in your life, like the monumental things, I was just like, I was right about this brother because I didn't ask, I didn't pry, and we just kicked it, man. And I think for me, that's what stuck with me the most, and it came at a right on time conscious because I don't get to talk to a lot of older black men. Like I'm always like I'm the person that's doing the plugging and connecting in my life, so I feel like that can be exhausting. I've been doing this since I was a teenager. I'm 35. I've been working in my field since I was 23, and everybody will always say how impressed they were because of how I carry myself. I'm like, man, I'm the classic Drake verse, man. How young can you die from old age, man? I'm telling you, I feel that way all the time. Like I feel like I've been grown a long time, but I feel like that's what God put me on this earth to be a vessel. But I gotta appreciate that gift and know how powerful that is, and how responsible I have to be with that gift because it can be a threat too. It can lead you down a different path too. So I feel like, they say nice guys finish last, but also, you don't have to finish. You got to keep going. Like I'm not trying to finish last. I'm not trying to finish first. I'm just trying to stay steady, stay consistent, and appreciate the contentness in life. Sometimes, if that's even a word, being content is what I really meant to say. So I think that's important, man, because work is one thing, and I think how you feel about what you do it's gonna spill over into your life. And I feel like because we did so much work that was tied to our identities, that can mess with it too. And then it's like, well, damn, am I good at it? Am I at where I'm supposed to be at? Like, even all the things, man. So I always respected that just about the brothers at Hidden Genius Project. And now that I got my group of youngest now, oh man, it's like just like you said it, like I'm volunteering my time with the kids. I'm getting paid to deal with the adults. And that's what
That's
the,
it.
that's what the that's what the helping field is. That's what education, law, medical, like the act itself, like the game, when you step on the court, that's the fun part. That's you do that for free. I was gonna be helping people regardless, whether you pay me or not. But like to deal with all the intricacies, all the oh man, and you boy, was you right? Because boy, you was right.
Man, look, man, it's so much because now you getting into and I'm gonna get I want to get to your backstory and all the things you done touched on the court, so I definitely want to hit on that. Um, but no, that's it, man. One of my boys gave me that, some months ago. Like, yo, y- you would be working with these kids in some capacity or another. You're gonna be pouring it into these kids. You're getting
Mhm.
paid to deal with all the other stuff, and it was like,
Yep.
and it put it in perspective, man. I shared that with everybody else, and whoever it landed for, great. If not, all good. But that definitely put it into perspective. And but like you said, man, that identity piece. This podcast is very much a a response to that because when I was, I launched Smash Morehouse back in 2017, and my identity as a black man got all wrapped up in that. This was work,
Mhm.
career, this identity. I'm seeing myself as a black boy, so I'm talking to my younger self. When that went away after 5 years, in a pandemic, I'm like, "Oh, shoot, like, oh, wait, what value am I adding? Who am I? What am I doing here? Am I contributing?" I know I'm talented in all these other ways. My background is in a whole nother field. Like, what is this? And so the podcast was really me extending that work in a sense without having to be, tied to it in terms of a career. And then it's much more than that too, right? The grab your why universe. I'm trying to really extend this thing. We haven't even talked about it, and I got some more. I got some stuff cooking, man. We got to talk. We'll talk offline. Um,
Sure, for sure.
but but yeah, so I wanna, but I do want to get into your relationship with yourself by first. We didn't even touch on like where are you from, man? You talked about Detroit as your second home. Where is home? Who is Troy the man? Like, where are you from, bro?
For sure. I'm from Chester, Pennsylvania. I gotta say it proud. I'm from Chester, PA. Chester. We take pride in our city. We a small little city right outside of Philly. Consider it like, for every LA there's a Compton, for every Detroit there's a Flint, for every, we that small city that's nothing to prove, but the bigger city is always commenting on what we got going on because we do it at a high level. We do. I promise you, like we got a lot of dope talent and famous folks from there, whether it's athletes, or Baltimore is athletes, you got your Tyreek Evans from the NBA, Jameer Nelson, NBA, you got your Kevin Jones, NFL, and the list goes on and on and on, just to name a few. So like I grew up in a town that's 30,000 people. We don't even have a supermarket. We got one high school, and we figure it out. We figure it out. It's like it's really all about pivoting and figuring out your why, pun intended, to be here. Like, and you can't hide. We don't have the infrastructure of a big city to, you do something on this side of town, you can go migrate here. Man, we all half related. We all could be cousins. We go to the same church. Like people go to the same masjid. So, I grew up in Chester, and my father's side of the family is from Detroit. So that's where my Detroit ties come. So I grew up in Chester. My mom's side of the family is all from there. My mom and my father met at Howard University. And I got such a unique story. My mom and father met at Howard University. My father was a big football star at Howard, played quarterback, got signed by the New York Giants, won the Super Bowl 25 as his first year in the league, won Super Bowl.
Oh, I
And he
didn't know
played
that
at
part.
yeah. Somehow I don't promote it. Like I don't promote it, but yeah, Troy Kyle Sr. If you Google my dad got a Wikipedia and everything, and ain't make a lot of money. I mean, ain't make a lot of money. I grew up in the hood, and my father, he was a he was a student. Like, he was great. Like he works in the medical field now. He was probably working remote before that was even a thing. I remember my father used to give me like a Sprint SIM card that was Wi-Fi before it was a hotspot. Like my father was on like Uvu doing business calls and Skype and all of that. So like football was very, very short lived, but it was his avenue to like economic mobility. I think his rookie contract wasn't more than 75,000 in 1990, but it's a he's an undrafted free agent out of a HBCU where they wasn't letting a lot of brothers play quarterback. So he played receiver. He was fast. Bill Parcells, Phil Simms, Why Wright. One of the most memorable Super Bowls ever. My father was a part of. Like I got his jersey, I got his medallion. I think he played one more year with the Niners, and that was it. And I was a basketball player. I was completely opposite. Never played football, probably because I kind of just wanted to do something different than my father, because I wasn't with him every day. I spent my summers with him, and the rest of my childhood, throughout the year with my mother and my stepfather. God rest his soul. But I played basketball all throughout my childhood. Chester's a hooping city, so we hoop. Tore my tore my ACL my junior year, but I was always smart. Like I was always top in my class. So I'm like, I don't care where I go to school if I'm not hooping, man. Like I'll go wherever. So man, went to Lock Haven University. Just playing intramurals, having fun, just doing what you do at the PWI as a black person, figuring it out. And then ended up walking on to my Division II squad. Started. I mean, we in a tough conference. We was just getting our ass kicked every other game, just getting smacked. I'm talking about it was bad. We got one of the worst losses in college history. I would not tell you the score, but if you look up Lock Haven versus West Liberty University, you will see the score. You will
Oh,
not believe
no.
it. Um,
Uh,
so that's a little Easter egg to find a little later. But I say that to say I've seen the peak of like athletics just in my childhood. I've been one that was just naturally gifted at like sports, but already knew that like I had to figure out like my why. I had to figure out what I wanted to do. So I think for me, like going to Lock Haven was great. I mean, we had 300, 400 black people and 4,000 plus white people at that school in the middle of Central PA. And it taught me how to navigate life. It taught me how to figure it out. You may have $40 to last you for 2 weeks and you waiting on a Western Union from your father or your mom. Like, so I've been there. Like, and my mom just dropped me off at school, and that was it. I ain't seen my mom till I graduated or came home for summer break. So, that's how that happened, man. I majored in psychology at Lock Haven, and then I went to Westchester University for my master's in school counseling. So I come from a family of educators. My mom was a teacher, my father taught at some point. My grandmom's an admin and a principal, retired. Both of my grandmoms. So I knew my inclination was to be this servant leader. I knew that I didn't want to teach. So school counseling was naturally something that gravitated towards me. Kind of got my first like taste of education work working at Freedom Schools, like Philadelphia Freedom Schools. They had a program in Chester. So Dr. Carr down there at Howard, he was big coming through. So I did that for a summer. And then always like working with the young people, and I always kind of just like I knew what I didn't see in school, so I feel like being able to be that for others was natural for me. So that was kind of like how my childhood was heavy on the basketball, but I always got straight A's. I was like the person that went to parties on the weekend. I remember when I graduated, I'll never forget it. I had all the cords, all the regalia, and I never forget somebody looked at me and was like, "Yo, you was smart. Like you, you was partying every weekend. Like you was going." I said, "Yeah, I went to class, bro. Like I was in honors when I was in school. Like I was very studious. Like." Don't get me having a good time on the weekend as like I'm only here to have a good time. So I think I learned early the duality of life and being a black man. That it's not. I'm from the hood, man. My city is very very violent, very very dangerous, very very poor. But I don't use that to define me, and like I can still much very be person on the block, a person in the classroom. But I lived a very like structured life. I had the healthy fear of my mother growing up. I didn't want to hear my mom mouth growing up. So for me, it was just like my whole way of living. If my mom ain't saying nothing, I'm good. Like you feel me? Like sometimes you get that little good kid kind of, what you doing? Like, wow, what's going on? Like she ain't got no issue with me. She just got to show that she's still in control. So I think that stuck with me. That little healthy fear of my mother stuck in me because when I see my father in Detroit, it's the summer. It's the fun parent. Like, he rolling around, he got the Super Bowl ring. We riding down 7 Mile. We doing us. Like, it's fireworks and I got a whole basement to myself at 12 or 13 years old, man. I'm living it up. Like I'm going from Chester to Detroit is a very, very like dynamic thing for me because I went from hood to like hood. Like and community was like key. And I think that's what makes me such uh a way to be myself, but also make people feel seen and be charismatic and know I'm like that lineage of the men in my life because I really I had to do that from a young age just because I moved around a lot. I traveled a lot with sports. I traveled a lot personally. So I think it's really set me up for this moment here as I say that out loud. Yep. Yep.
Mm. Yeah, you that was a beautiful breakdown. Thank you for sharing that. And part of what you said, one of the things that stuck out of many things that stuck out was like, yo, I wasn't you were aware of this duality that you had, that you didn't box yourself into like, nah, I'm a hooper. Nah, I get good grades. Nah, I party. You were like, nah, I'm me. I can be all of these things. I know you mentioned your mom being part of why you took care of, the grades and things like that. But like, were there other examples that told you, or can you think of what made you understand that early on? Because I think that's something that black boys and black men, people, youth in general struggle with. But as black boys and black men, there's like a few lanes that we're told externally, like these are your lanes. Pick a lane,
Yeah.
stay
Yeah.
there. Don't be moving around too much. Kind of stay in your
Yeah.
pocket. But can you think of what might have given you that permission or that inclination of like, nah, I'm multiple things and I'm gonna be all of them.
Community, man, like my hood, my neighborhood. Like I got 3 childhood friends that literally have a similar story as me. We all were great athletes, great in class, charismatic, but we also had friends on the other side that was in the streets. And I feel like when I was younger, you either was an athlete or you weren't. And if you weren't, it was like pick a side. It was like when stuff about to get real, they may be about to do something they ain't got no business doing. Yo, step up. This ain't for y'all. Like it doesn't make us less of a person. It's not an ego thing. So I think I learned early on just the duality of how I need those representations. I had to, unfortunately watch people succumb to gun violence, mass incarceration, teen parenthood, all of those things to at least know that's not what I want to do. So I feel like I've learned from seeing spaces and people that I may not have wanted to walk that way of life. And I had a maybe an idea of what a good model would look like. I think in hindsight, I've never seen too many positive male black models, but I damn sure could give you a long list of negative ones. And I knew if anything, I learned early, like I could at least learn that I don't want to be like the drunk on the corner. I don't want to be looking over my shoulder because I've been shot or been shot at. I don't want to go too crazy with the girls. I'm at least be responsible to protect myself so I don't have a child. Like all of those things, I think I just learned, I lived off experience, just lived off experience. And I had some strong black men. My stepfather, my father, they were great role models, but they also were very. I think I get that. I definitely get my sense of self and me just being authentically me from my father. Because one thing he gonna own his shit, and whatever it is, like he'll tell me in a heartbeat, like you way better than any man I could ever be, and it's just like sometimes that's good, but it's also like, so when I mess up, because I'm the good kid here, so if I make a mistake, it weigh on me even heavier. It's like the stakes is higher. It's like, I'm not saying that I'm perfect, but it's like 9 times out of 10, I'm gonna make the most sound decision. But when you know that you have that skill, you can try to do both. You can I learned stop trying to be God because it's not in my control. Like why worry about what I can control? Why worry about what I can? So I think I just had a lot of different living models of just peers. My peers are really real. We still friends to this day. I don't know too many men I can say they had childhood friends from third grade to adulthood, like legit. We may not talk as much, but when we see each other, we still looking at each other like the same, 8-year-old kids I used to, run around and shoot basketball in the alleyway and stuff. So I think it was really just life, man. I had a lot of good representations of the different facets of what it looks like to be a black man because like I said, my city is very, very small. My aunt and uncle had 12 kids. That was my hood. They all around my age. So come on, man. I had the dichotomies of just where I want to go, where it was possible for me to go to, and where I don't want to go. And if I keep going down this road, this where you're going to end up. So I had all ends of the spectrum in this small city that's nothing but 30,000 people. And then, like, when I say I could walk, it's parts of Chester that I can walk to the state of Delaware. Like, literally, it's that small. Like, and we got one of yeah, man, it's just so much going, so much history. And I think like community is key. I never was really big on the word community because, East Coast is very territorial. Like, you got people from this side, people in North Philly don't get along, people in South Philly, people on the east side of Chester don't get along, people on the west side of Chester. But I think like that community, like we can do it like you intra connected, but like it's still us versus everybody. It's always us and never them. So I feel like that little small little intra kind of like static that you get makes you be able to be international and tap into the world because like it can't be as hard as like what I had to grow up with, like it can't be because I'm still here. So I think those was my main things, just seeing a bunch of real living legends, man. I lost a lot of people in my life too. Like I've experienced a lot of death. I've seen a lot of death. So I think for me, it makes me value my life even more because I lost a lot. And I don't use that as like a rags to riches Tyler Perry kind of thing. It's more so like that's just what it was, man. Like that's just what it was. So I like to lead with light because the people don't know the chaos it took me to be this calm and peaceful and smile as much as I do. I know my smile lights up a room because boy, it's times that people don't see it or it's hard for me to smile, to be honest. And I don't know why. I'm not choosing to be that, but it's a fact. It's a fact.
Wow. Yeah, man. Sorry, TP, man. Sorry you had to catch that straight, Tyler. But I
No
hear it. Nah,
shade, but he
right,
know what he
right,
be doing.
right. Nah, I
No
feel you.
shade.
I'm with you. We not trying to get a deal, so it's all
Yeah,
good,
yeah,
man. We can
yeah.
speak
I watch
freely
his
here.
movies. I watch his movies.
There you
I'm a
go. Yeah,
supporter.
yeah. It's
Support
all
hate.
good.
It's support hate. Yeah.
And the podcast is unaffiliated. We unaffiliated, so
Yeah.
we can say whatever we need to say. Um, but yo, man, so you I appreciate that because I think the um there a lot of times, especially being black men, we can point to a lot of the examples of what we don't want, of what we don't want to become, of who we don't want to be. And but it's really important to have, if not multiple, a few examples of who we might want to be, right? Or at least we can pull from, at least we can, you know, model ourselves after. And so it sounds like you had that, and maybe it was more of like, you know, definitely don't want to be these things, but you know what? I've seen integrity over here. I've seen honesty. I've seen being upright, upstanding, all those things. I've seen that over here, and that's enough for me to, to move towards. But the other thing you touched on, which I resonate with, and I'm sitting here, I'm trying to reflect and speak on it at the same time. Um, is that piece around expectation. I was also very much like high expectations, high performing student, right? Consider, mature for my age, like I'm a good decision maker, right? Like out of my siblings, out of my cousins, whatever. Hey, Brian's gonna be responsible. Brian's gonna hold it down. He's gonna make the right decision here. And like, that to an extent was like a badge of honor. Like, yeah, all right, cool, I can hold it down. But there's also this pressure that comes with that. And this, you talked about it in terms of like, yo, I'm not God. Like, I realized that for me, I name it as perfection, right? I mentioned that before we even started. It's perfectionism. It's like, I got to get this thing right. I got to right. And many cases ain't no right. It's like, it's a podcast. We're gonna sit here and we're gonna record. There's no actual template or right way to do it. The only right way that I'm recognizing now is to show up honestly and authentically. That's it. If I do that, that is so-called perfect or perfection. But that external voice, and I know my folks didn't mean any harm by it, or my family, but just my parents don't mean any harm. They're very much like affirming me, like, hey, Brian, you are capable, you are mature. This is all affirmations. We believe in you. We believe you can make the right decisions. But for whatever reasons, I internalized a lot of that as like, ah, damn, I gotta get it right every time. And what's
Yeah.
gonna happen if I don't get it right? And that's something that even, at 38, I'm like, still, like, okay, I can see where it's showing up. I can see where I need to like take a minute. I can see where I'm like, oh, you just need to make a decision and move. You just need to act. Right. And so I didn't know if you had or I appreciate it, not that you have to continue to speak on it, but I appreciate that you brought that up because, that resonates with me. And I imagine that resonates with other black men and, black boys who are going through that now is like, the other way that could show up too, I think, is and is much more racialized, is like you're one of the good ones, right? Like you one of the good black ones. And I think some black boys and black men internalize that and they take it and that's who we would refer to as, you know what I mean? Try not to call out the brothers, but we might
Yeah,
we might we might have some choice words for a brother who's
that's a
like,
fact.
who was like, "Yeah, I am one of the good ones." It's like, "All right, hold on, right, relax."
Congratulations, like,
Right,
who
congrats,
cares?
dog.
Like
Right, get your cookie, keep it
yeah,
moving.
yeah,
But then you
yep,
got other guys who like who might take that and they may either push back by going like, "Nah, fuck that. I'm not.
mhm,
I'm going this way with
mhm,
it, actually." Um, or they don't know what to do with it. And you can feel kind of stuck if you don't
yeah,
recognize that that's what's happening, that there's this external I'm calling it pressure, right? But this external expectation to be a certain way or to do right all the time. And that to me turns into performance. That's when black men become performative. And that's when we stop being authentic. And there's a cost to that, I think. And part of what I see in you, and maybe you could speak to it, is someone who is a lot more comfortable in their skin and showing up authentically without worry or fear of what might come with that authenticity.
mhm,
I
I
don't know if any
agree,
of that resonates with you.
yeah, it does. I feel like it's also, I think because I've had responsibilities that most of my peers are ascending towards, I've had for a while. So, like, I met my wife in college. I was 17 in college. I was 13 in high school. So, like, I've always been the youngest. Like, met my wife, me and her dated all through college. We went through life together. She's a successful attorney. I got married at 26. No, not 26. I got married at 27. Um, bought a house at 25. So I've had a lot of major milestones young, and not because I was like this braggadocious. I mean, literally, like we bought a house because our landlord raised the rent $50, and my wife's like, "We ain't giving her no more money. We might as well just go buy a house." I'm like, I don't know the half about buying a house, but I know my credit is cool, so let's do it. And here we are, 10 years later. Man, I couldn't imagine trying to do that right now in my current state. Like, so I think a lot of times, I say that to say, like, as you say, doing the right thing, I think is I'm trying to remember the joy and reap the joy of my blessings because eventually your blessings start to feel like obligations. And if I treat the things that I prayed for as obligations all the time, I miss the joy. And it's like, I have to do this. Like I'm used to doing that. And in that way, you can start treating people like you can start interchanging the nouns. The place could feel like a person, the person could feel like a place, and the thing could feel like this. So I feel like, before this kind of go into what we were saying before we started recording of how like I've been in a storm these past 6 months because I've been in my like inquisitive bag. I've been questioning all my decisions, not because I think that I want to be somewhere else, but it's like it's certain spaces that God protected me from, and I'm starting to learn now why He did. And it sometimes you gotta let it hurt and you'll be all right again. I really believe that. Sometimes it comes at the cost of, inflicting some harm on yourself or on a space, on a noun. I like the word noun because people can do with that as they may say. But it's been tough and you can like lose yourself in it. And I think for me, I feel like when you matter, and you are the responsible one, you can't be reckless with your responsibility. You can't be reckless with your passion. Because you know how charismatic you can be. You know how powerful you can be, but you also don't know how that can cause self-inflicted harm and lead you down the path you ain't want to be in the first place, unbeknownst to you. So I think for me, like I'm at a space now where I'm damn proud of myself. And like I read a quote earlier it was like, you know, instead of overthinking about what could go wrong, overthink about how great it could go. And like speaking life into myself, like speaking like, you know, I'm a great, I never want to be a better I don't want to be a better advice giver than life liver. That's something I'm really big on. Like I've been on for the past, I've been trying to for the past year. 'Cause it's been a storm. It's not been a storm just because of one thing in particular. It's a combination of things. You know, the uncertainty of the times. Am I going to be able to like, you know, do this? Like, is work still going to be a thing? Am I? Do I got to pivot here? Like, I'm trying to find a place of sustainability because I know that that's how I get my blessing from doing things that capitalize on the good days, stack the good days. Even when it's bad, I started thanking God for the bad times because it could have been worse. Some of the things I complained about, I was praying about at one point. So I think I started to thank God for the valleys in my life and started to appreciate the village that I have around me because I think my role, not that it's not a thing, but to your point about when you was at Smash and like how it was so all encompassing, I never realized how many people actually pay attention to me until I took a step back. Like doing this role and I'm meeting with different stakeholders. It's like, well, damn, I'm getting invited to these rooms that when I was younger, people would tell me like I ain't ready to be in. And I'm like, well, who the hell is you to tell me? You ain't even ill like that. Like you weird, first and foremost. Like, you know what I'm saying? Like, what's up? You can get, and I think that's from me just being from the hood. It's just like, you know, like you ain't really checking me. So like, what's the point? But I think I've learned to balance all of those things and really just be okay with being content and know that being content is just settling. Because at the end of the day, I mean, I don't know, I gotta, you know, God rest my grandfather. So he was always like real quiet as he got older, but it's because he's seen a lot. And you know, I want that resolve of an older black man. You know, when he talk, you listen. He's still gonna be funny. He's still gonna be witty. You know, you may not see your grandparents interact that much because that's not for y'all. But you know, he know how to do that thing to get my mom, you know, smiling and laughing. He know to come in when her song come on. He just want to sip his whiskey, you know, smoke his herb and chill out, you know. So and I'm okay, and that is totally fine. So I'm realizing that I need to be present in my blessings more and not look at them as obligations because man, come on, B. You know, it's always a checklist. We got to check this off. We got to do this. We got to meet this deadline. We got to talk to this person. And as much as I'm talking now, man, I would much rather be quiet. Like I don't want. I'll be wrapped out. Like, you know, I talk for the world, but it's like when I come home, I need to treat my home and my blessings as like a exhale, not a whew, not like I need to exhale and be present and treat it as my peace, not a place for me to like recalibrate my day. Like sometimes we treat home as if like, man, it's the only place I can get some quiet. It's the only place I can get some peace. And it's like, nah, like, come on, man. You go out into the world and you put on that fake smile. You chipper up in that meeting when you don't want to do it. Do that shit at home. You know, make time to call your people. It's like check on your strong friends because all this responsibility can feel very, very lonely sometimes, and that ain't good. That ain't good. I thank God I got people that can tap in with me and check on me, including you, bro. Like, just I don't need a lot, quality over quantity. So I think that those I'm learning now, and I can say like I had the best week I've had I had the best week this past week that I've had in the past 7 months. I mean that, and I mean like when I say the best, like I slept better. Certain things that I was working on financially came through. Certain things in my in my marriage and my family and my friendships started coming to fruition. It's like I'm dope, but I ain't that dope. Like that was God. Like I
Yeah.
think it was cause like, you know, I own my shit. I look myself in the mirror and say like, yo, I haven't been me. I haven't been me at all. I've been acting kind of off kilter, all and like you may not recognize it when you're doing it, but like you know that feeling you get when you lay down, like, damn, like that wasn't it. And it's just like, how do I break that cycle? How do I break that? So I feel like for now, like I feel it's the best I felt like in a while, honestly, like mentally, like I got such a clear vision on what I want and I'm okay if I fall short because I know I gotta stack the small days and the good days. I ain't gotta get a home run all the time. Just getting on base is enough. And it can be tough, man. I don't meet a lot of me in my life, man. I don't. I don't. I work. I don't I used to do this thing like this past few months, like where are the black men at? Like I know we out here, but where we at? Like I don't see us. I don't see us in the store. Like what's going on? Like and it could be lonely, man. It could be lonely, but I feel like I'm reminded in many ways that I got a village around me, and it may not be the village I thought that I would have, but it's the one that's for me. I think we want the look of it, so I know that was a little
Mm.
tangent, but that's
Huh?
the best way I can put it, man.
Man, that is the best 5 minutes of the whole conversation to me, man. I mean, you touched on a lot, and I think you're right. I'm almost wanna work backwards at that whole idea around I have the village, and it may not be the one or what I wanted it or expected it to look like.
Mhm,
Like,
mhm,
that to me is huge because I think there's so many of us who have an idea or image of what life all of life is supposed to look and feel like, and when it doesn't, we're like, "Yo, what's up?" Right? We could feel
yep,
really down or off or like we need to be striving more, and it's like, "No, you kinda
that's
just
me.
need to be present." Like, right? You just actually need to sit your ass down and be grateful because
Yeah,
like,
yeah,
life is actually decent. It's
that's a
actually
fact.
good, and it doesn't, but if you're trying to if you're projecting an image of what you want it to look like, and it you it may not ever look like that. It doesn't mean it's
Mhm,
not good. It doesn't mean
yep,
that you're not achieving. It doesn't mean that you're not blessed. It doesn't mean that you don't have peace, but you got to be able to sit down and experience peace, right? Too. And so part of what you said earlier, that was a bar, definitely clipping that. Around like that advice, right? It's like, yo, we gotta live this thing out, right? Like that's part of this podcast is like, yo, a- any conversation I have is all I'm like, yo, I'm trying to live this too. All right. And I'm bringing people in who are talking about what they're living. It's one thing to share a bunch of ideas, but it's like, no, I want some cats who are like living life, figuring it out. sh- Don't uncertain, but you still in it. You know what I mean? And to be able to be present enough and whatever your circumstances are, I think that's way more important than hitting this exact image of what you think it's gonna look like because, similar to you, man, you talking about, the last 6, 7 months, man, I feel like I haven't been me. I told you that earlier. I feel like I haven't been me for about 4 or 5 years, bro. And it's not until very recent, you know, the last few months that I felt like I oh, I got me back. Like I'm me
yeah,
again. And it
yeah,
I was and a lot of that is just being present, man. And being grateful, man. I've been expressing gratitude as well. I think that's one of the things if I would say to anybody, but especially black men with everything they can feel like it's holding us critical and it feels like stuff ain't right over here. I don't feel seen, all the things. You find something to be grateful for every day. The smallest thing, and that can sometimes be the thing that gets you to start zooming out a little bit and can really transform your whole outlook, your whole perspective. But I think being present, being grateful are like two of the biggest things that we can do that can be really difficult. But ultimately, man, I think they help us. I think they help a lot. Um, yeah, no, you that was not a tangent, bro. You dropped some
appreciate
gems.
it.
I'm
I
clipping like
appreciate
I'm clipping off.
it. For sure, for sure.
um, so I want to touch a little bit on black men broadly, which I think we're kind of doing, right? And you're reflecting and you're sharing. I think we're also, touching on things that apply to, black men in general. Um, but yeah, here's the one question I want to ask you. What gives you hope about black men today? You think about black men, is there anything, I know you just said it. I'm not seeing this at the grocery store. I'm not seeing this out. Is there anything that's like, yo, this is giving me hope? Now that's a big question.
Um, that is. I think what gives that's kind of crazy too. I think what gives me hope is that while we may not be seen, we may not be heard as we would like, um, it's still a void and only we could fill it. I think like the fact that like I feel like that we have a unique value proposition that only we have, and as much as people get into, you get your gender equality, you got all the different facets of identity and all the things. Um, for a little while, and I would say like I would recant. I would go back on the 6 7 months have been bad because you were transparent about the 5 years. I would say the past year or two. Like I've been past 2 years. I just haven't been myself. Do something I like. I don't want to shortchange my struggle. I gotta own that. That's something I'm trying to course correct in real time. So 2 years, but I will say um it was a thing not to take pride in being a man. Like sometimes, society, how you feel like being proud of being a man is that you are oppressing others. And it's like, no, like the same way you can have, a month for all the identities. Why can't I just be proud that, you know what? I'm a black man and I like that. I
Yeah,
appreciate that, and I think that value proposition, regardless of how we've been, you can't avoid this. We the culture, like we set the vibes. Like we set the vibe. We are the culture, and everybody want to be us for real. We just gotta want to be us. Like, word to Jay, man. I see Jay Z next month, and I can't wait. I hope he play well. I hope he play that track. But everybody really want to be us. Like, when I say want to be us, not maybe like in totality, but there are facets of Black culture that are only predicated off of Black men, and I can acknowledge that I'm very very unapologetically Black before it was even like trendy, like, before, oh man, like you can't play this, you can't wear a hat, you ain't supposed to have locks, like, you're not supposed to listen to YB, you're not, why can't I? And why can't I? This is the culture and this is what they act. So I think like our value proposition gives us hope because we need it. And I feel like that's the best answer I can give because it is gloomy. It is gloomy because sometimes I feel like damn, like what we supposed to do with that? Like, what I'm supposed to do? And like our problem isn't the problem, but I think we have a unique value proposition that we can transcend narratives beyond just the quintessential being rich, being an athlete, or being incarcerated, or being all the stereotypes. And some of the positive stereotypes have a bunch of negative effects on the people that aren't those. Like, like I ain't rich. I do all right, but I ain't rich. I'm not an athlete, but that's okay. Like I didn't fail that life because I don't have these things that y'all think that that's what matters to be successful. What you deem successful for a Black man is peace, man. It's really peace. And like I think for me, like I can look myself in the mirror and say like I'm proud to be a Black man, and that doesn't mean that I'm oppressing somebody else because the running phrase is you invited to the cookout. Who on the grill? Unc is on the grill. Unc is on the grill. You heard? Unc is on the grill. So if Unc on the grill, it ain't no cookout without us. So like that's our value. That was a bar. I ain't gonna catch. I just thought of that. And I just grilled the other day too. So I'll be in my Unc bag. So my little geniuses call me Unc. I had to tell them chill because your uncle probably older than me. So
right.
don't do that. I'm not old, bro. And I'm okay with getting older. I have no fear of nothing. But yeah, Unc is on the grill. That's what gives me hope. Unc is on the grill. And y'all want to come to the cookout. Flat out, man. That's it. Yep, that's it. That's funny. I'm gonna laugh at that later. That's funny.
No, that's great. Definitely, definitely a bar. It, I love how you put it, man. The way I've been naming it, and funny enough, man, I'm expanding this. I'm gonna be dropping some episodes about this, but I name what you just said as permission. We are the ones who have to give ourselves permit. We, like you said, we hold all the value, right? But I think we give away too much of our value and too much of
We
our
do.
power, right? When like, why can't I do this thing? Why can't I listen to this? Why can't I show up in this way? Why can't I be this? Why can't I say these things? Why can't I have these relationships and dynamics? Why can't I create this? All of that's going to come back to us. We are the ones who have to give ourselves permission to be fully ourselves.
But
And I think permission is one of those things. And that's why I like to kind of ask that question about like, who gave you permission to be the way you are? And without saying it, that's kind of what I was asking you earlier is like, how did you become all of this? Right. And so the permission piece I think is extremely important because there's a ownership that comes with that versus like, yo, if I'm only oppressed, if I'm only subject to what external forces and capitalism and white supremacy and what society is telling me I am and what I can be, they're setting my ceiling. And I'm screwed every time because who who wants better for me than me? And like, dog, if Troy believes in me, I need to be listening to whatever Troy's talking about. I need to be listening to whatever Troy's talking about, whatever Franklin's talking about, whatever like these other brothers are saying I can be. That's what I need to be listening to. And then I have to give myself permission to be that, right? I have to give myself permission to be great. I have to give myself permission to be creative. I have to give myself permission to be more than one thing, right? I got to give myself permission to be dope. Um, all and everything in between. And when we don't, I think that's what's missing. That is
Yeah.
what is missing. It is us. It is no one else who can stop us from being us. And I think some of that starts with us giving each other permission. And maybe that's part of what our relationship and our dynamic is. It's like, yo, we see each other and then we give each other permission to be fully ourselves. I don't expect Troy to be any of what I want him to be. I see Troy as human. I see Troy as a talented, gifted black man, but beyond his talent and his gifts, I see him as a human being. Troy, be you, bro. We're just here. Let's be in this space together, right? That and once that permission exchange happens, now I think we can start to give ourselves permission and internalize that and say, hold on. And I think sometimes we have to literally name it like that. Like, yo, I give myself permission to be Unc. I give
That's a
myself permission to
fact.
be Unc. I'm on the grill. That's who
That's a
I am
fact.
right now, and I give myself
That's a
permission to be that. So it's that's how I name it. But I love how you put that, man. I think
yeah.
it's so important.
I think we gave ourselves as black men KPIs and we ain't even in corporate. We ain't even that many of us in the space and we didn't gave ourselves KPIs. I'm guilty of it too, where it's like, man, like, I'm like, man, what was I even tripping on? Like nobody telling me these things. Like it's kind of like how you think, like, you know, when you're young, you start to meet girls, you start to meet, you start to understand what it means for a woman to like you. You know what I'm saying? It's not what you have. Take back to your middle school days, your high school, when you ain't had nothing. Like they liked you for you. And the men, the boys who tried to like them for what they had, the new Jordans, it's like, man, you ain't got the juice like that. Like it's in you. It's not on you. So I feel like I learned that at a young age. And I think a lot of times we KPI ourselves out of a damn opportunity because we think that these key performance things are indicators of who we are, and it's really not. Like we qualify, we quantify and qualify our value, like of a God does first, but like we set that, like we interpret that. We can't. I think a lot of times what we are responsible for and how we are able to be responsible for determines how we feel about ourselves, and that's not okay because anything in the flesh gonna let you down. You gonna let yourself down. You got to give yourself permission to let yourself down, to fail, because like I only learn from failure. I don't learn from winning. I don't learn from somebody telling me I'm doing a good job all the time. I'm like, well, why don't it feel like it? Like, what else do we need to do? If everything's so awesome, everything cool until it's not, man. I'm trying to tell you, like everything cool until it's not. Like it's like, well, damn, like it was, it was Steakhouse and Nobu, and now we over here, we at ShopRite in Publix trying to figure out how can we finesse a little turkey, so a turkey hoagie somewhere. So I feel like it's very important that I'm
Mm.
glad that you know that reference right now. So we're gonna
Yeah.
keep, I just say that like, you think about all of those things because I think we think that our success has to be quantifiable and it's qualifiable. Like, we hold priceless value that's not rooted in a number or, and I think now people realizing that, people going back to, I mean, I see a lot of brothers like they like minimalistic things. Like, they don't need a lot. Like I'm trying to I'm trying to make sure that I need to do what I need to do now and enjoy it so I can do what I want to do later and not have to worry about it. Cause we ain't getting no younger, man. And regardless how I go down, life going on and it's moving fast. It's moving fast. So if we got the power to slow down and be still, I think it's important. Because even me just saying I'm 35, man, you say you 38, man, I still like, damn, I remember when I was 21. I remember when I remember these things. So it's just like, I'm proud of you and I'm proud of myself. And I feel like we got to say that. Me and my friends, we always tell each other, yo, I love you, brother. Like, I love you. Like, that ain't nothing weird to say. Like, I learned that young. My hood was really like that. Like, we was like that since we was kids. Like, I love you, bro. Love you, cuz. Let me know when you get home. Like, all of that. Because you never know, especially when you lose people, man. And find the joy. Keep that black boy joy and that youthfulness because the world will aid you way more than you are, boy. Because listen, man, it ain't nobody telling us the things we think about ourselves. Nobody is.
Man. Bruh, that's a bar,
Mhm.
man. That is a bar. I just talked to one of my homeboys earlier, man, and it's same thing, man. Soon every time we get off the phone, man, love you, man. Take care, bro. And
Yep.
I'm gonna see
Yep.
him after this. But no, man, I want to tell you, bro. I see you, man. I see you, bro. And
Thank you. Likewise.
I give you permission to continue to be before you do anything. I give you permission because I think we gotta do that for each other. I give you permission to just be, man. You've done so much. You've had such a huge impact. I give you permission to be. I give you permission to be great. I give you permission to rest. I give you permission to give yourself grace. Um, man, I give you permission to be fully human, to experience all of your humanity, man. And that's off the strength. No one else can take it from you, and ultimately, you gotta give yourself permission to do that, man, but, man, what a blessing, bro, to be able to sit down and have this conversation. I'm very grateful right now. I'm like, "Yeah,
Likewise, me too.
this was
I
needed,
needed
man."
this. I didn't know
Yeah,
we needed it, and now it's crazy because I remember when we talked about it, I'm like, man, I gotta make sure that I push the needle and just make the act. So one thing I learned from you was at least make the acts. Like, don't just assume no reply. Like, I listen to what you put down, and I appreciate the value and the impact you had in my life. I'm looking forward to more collaboration because this was dope. This was fun, and I used to do a podcast, and I've always on some like everybody like, man, people need to hear you speak more. And I think this made it just like, so like hold me accountable for that. Keep me tapped in, man. I love what you're doing. I've always been tapped into what you're doing. And I'm glad that we are a true living testament of how it doesn't have and the village may not look like what we want. Like you said, we met twice in person, bro. And now look at it. It's like, we soul tied. I'm proud of you. I'm proud of how you showing up despite all the things that life has handed. And I love you. I can honestly say I love you too, bro, because I love how you show up. I love how you represent for others. And it gives me hope. You give me hope in black men because not a lot of brothers who are older than you will take the time to do what you just did. Um and it's no angle to it. It's no catch to it. So like I value that, and I needed this more than you may know, man. So pray for me. If you don't do anything more, pray for me. Let's keep uplifting each other. Let's keep winning, and know that your blessing already here. Just enjoy it. Just be in it. That's what I took from this. Above all, man. Thank you, bro.
man, I love you, man. I appreciate that. I received that. Um, I do have a final segment, man, to close this out, and I realize I might not have done this with my last guest, so I gotta go back and run it back with him. Um, so I gotta close this out with this segment, man. It's called "I'm Not Gonna Hold You." So I got 21 rapid fire questions. Um, give it to me. This is really a snapshot of your thoughts, inclinations, interests, values, and more. So, whatever comes to mind, put it out there. And yeah, let's go. You ready?
Do it. Let's do it.
One, are you an early bird or a night owl?
Early bird. Easy.
What's your favorite way to unwind after a long day?
A J. Flat out. A J. And if it ain't a J, it's I like thrillers, like shows. Like I love a good thriller. I'm a real like film snob, so I love a good show that I can kind of get lost in. I just watched something called Wild Cherries on Paramount. Highly recommended. Fire, like fire.
Okay,
So yeah,
okay,
yeah.
gotcha. Would you rather go on a road trip or a cruise?
Road trip.
Yeah, I've still
We
never been
was
on a cruise.
yeah, we ain't missing nothing, and we ain't gonna go on one
Yeah,
either. We good.
yeah,
We got here on a cruise. We cool. We ain't going
yeah,
back.
yeah, we all for cruises, y'all. That
Yeah, we off a cruise,
2026,
man.
we all for cruises, man.
No, thank you.
Uh, that's hilarious, man. Uh, favorite childhood memory?
Oh, that's a good one. I would say, oh man, I was in a school play when I was young, and I never forget. I won't say that. I never forget. I was second grade. Second grade. I went to a Christian school too. I was playing somebody. We was peers. I was playing this girl's um son, and she was supposed to kiss me on my forehead and tell me goodnight. And she did. She kissed me on the lips. Goat moment. Goat moment. I never forget it. Goat moment. It's favorite childhood memory, boy. I ain't gonna lie. Shout out. I'll never forget that, boy. That was one of them
Oh,
things.
no.
I didn't get in trouble, but everybody was giving me high fives and dapping me out. I felt like the man. I'll never forget that. I'll
Absolutely,
never
bro.
forget that. That was a win. That's funny. That was a win.
You can't script this stuff. You can't script
Nah,
this
nah,
stuff.
nah. That's first
Hilarious.
verse, man. I ain't lying to you.
Wow. All right. Favorite TV show?
The Wire. The Wire. Gotta own it. It's The Wire.
Uh, what's something you've always wanted to do but haven't had the courage to try?
Skydiving. I did indoor skydiving, but I wanna do like actual skydiving. Yeah, for sure.
Gotcha. Would you rather have a pet dog or a pet cat?
Oh, if my wife could hear me, this would be crazy. I ain't gonna lie, a cat, cause I just dog sat for a little bit, and dogs is I ain't gonna hold you hot take, dogs is not the wave, man. It's too much, man. You gotta clean it's a
Yeah,
cat, I ain't gonna lie.
yeah. Cat is low maintenance for sure. Dogs
That's
is
what I'm saying. The
gotta
look
be
of the
engaged.
dog is amazing, but, like, I would appreciate a house cat for sure, I would.
Yeah. All right. What's your favorite type of music?
Rap. It's rap. It's rap and R&B, man, flat out. You see all the people behind me. These some of my favorite artists behind me. So yeah, rap for sure. Yeah.
What's one thing you've learned about yourself this year? Either 2026 or in the last year?
I've learned that mm, I learned that being is greater than doing. And I've learned that I'm powerful beyond my own beliefs. And yeah, I learned my power. And I've learned that I need to be in that power as opposed to trying to show it or do it or implement it. Just be in it. Just be in my power and knowing that that's enough. Like and that I'm enough. So I think I learned my value in life as I get to my fine yeah. I learned my value. I learned my place. Yeah. Yeah.
Powerful. Uh, what's something about you that people might be surprised to learn?
Mm. I would use my father as an example. It's not about me, but it's a part of that. My father made it, played in the NFL. Like I think that that's something. When I say it, people be like, and they Google like, "Oh," then they see him like, "Yeah, I ain't lying about that, bro." Like, you could Google that, but I think my father from my family, and then for me, I would say that I probably know every state capital. That's like a little weird thing that I just yeah, state capitals lists, books of the Bible. Like I was that young boy that like I was that kid. Go in church, say all the books of the Bible in front of the church. I got you. Like that was me. That was me. Yeah, you may not know that, that was me though.
That's funny, man. If you could go back and give your younger self one piece of advice, what would it be?
Mm, slow down. Just slow down. Don't put all the rush in the progress and just appreciate the process of things. You know, when you're young, you kind of in accelerated courses. You may they I remember they asked me to skip a grade in school and all these things. And it's just like just slow down. Like you got your whole life to be grown. Just slow
Mm,
down.
that part.
Yeah.
That part. What's something that you've accomplished that you're really proud of?
Um, I think earning my master's was one because that was all me. I didn't even know what I was going to do when I got my bachelor's, and me getting my master's was a very split second decision. And I think that was a big deal. I was the first in my neighborhood and anybody that I knew to do that. I did that by the age 23. So I think getting my master's was a really big deal because I grinded that one out. I went to school full time, like for 6 years after high school. So yeah, getting my master's for sure.
Oh, what's something oh, what's the most spontaneous thing you've ever done?
Brought a house because my landlord raised the rent for $50. That was super spontaneous. That was not in the plan, and I'm so glad that I did. So that was definitely spontaneous. I promise you it was literally that simple. Like so, that
Crazy,
was
man.
spontaneous. Yeah, it was. But I'm grateful. I'm 10 years in. So God bless that equity that I done built for myself and for my wife. So yeah, buying the house was definitely spontaneous. That sounds crazy, but it was.
And, it definitely sounds wild. What's your favorite soul food dish?
Combo, the mac and cheese and yams, like, together, though, like, you gotta yeah, yeah, yeah. Mhm.
Would you rather go bungee jumping or skydiving?
Skydiving for sure. I just seen a crazy bungee jumping video, and boy, yeah, that was they ain't had a bungee to the girl, B. It was in Brazil. They just threw her. They noticed the bungee was attached. God rest her soul. It's not funny. I'm not laughing about it, but it was wild. Ain't no way you forget the bungee. It's the skydiving, man. Skydiving. Because if I don't make it, I don't make it. And I'm yeah, skydiving. Yeah, but don't. Bungee jumping. Nah, I don't want to hang upside down. We don't need to do no boats, no ropes. Just jump out the plane, man. Let's just jump out the plane, bro. Let's jump out the plane.
I felt that, I feel it.
Real.
Alright, what's your favorite quote?
Day is what you prayed for. Unknown. I don't know if I made that up or I read it somewhere, but today is what you pray for. I tell myself that every day. Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
Would you rather have a green thumb or be a master chef?
Kind of both. I just had somebody cut down a tree in front of my crib. So I'm gonna go master chef. Master chef, cause yeah, master chef for sure. I can cook a little bit. I can get busy, but I can master that. Oh man, I will if I can master it, I would do it more. I think because of my skills is limited, I don't do it as much. But I would love to be a master chef because then yeah, that'd be a win. That would be a win.
Give me one unpopular opinion.
Hmm. Oh, I had a crazy hot take too. I would have to go through my group chat to see one, man. Unpopular. It's crazy, man. We do this all the time. This escaped me. I got an unpopular opinion. Oh, this gonna be bad.
Your call, man. Your call. It's the same space for me, but it's going out across the airways.
I'm 35. We don't listen to Michael Jackson like that. We don't. We be lying. We be lying. Michael Jackson isn't getting played in the function. Mm-mm. Mm-mm. I'ma just land it there, man. I'ma just land it there. We don't. We lie. We be lying about Mike. I get it, the videos, the dance, the we ain't nah, bro. Nah, bro. Nah. I ain't never heard Mike in my hood ever, ever, ever. And I'd have been in a lot of hoods. We ain't playing no Michael Jackson. Frankie Beverly and Maze get more spins than Mike Jack, bro. That's my hot take. We not jacking Michael Jackson, bro. We come on, man. Nah. 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 I'm gonna be honest.
Oh, that's good stuff. It's good stuff. Good stuff. All right. Ooh,
I
the
know.
people will have something
I
to
know.
say.
I
Let's
know
say
the
it.
movie out, but I heard what y'all was talking about, Mike. Same way y'all talked about R. Kelly too. So I ain't trying to hear it. Ain't trying to hear it. Ain't trying to hear it. Y'all, I ain't trying to hear it. Y'all know what y'all was saying.
Two more questions. Two more questions. Would you rather travel back in time or to the future?
Back in time. I'm a firm believer that the smallest decisions have the longest impact. So back in time, I will make a few different smaller decisions because I know that they would change the trajectory of my life. Kind of similar to my spontaneous house building. It's the best thing I ever did. I didn't try to plan for it. I just did it and I rolled with it. So back in time for sure. I don't want to go forward. I'm trying to be here. I'm already thinking ahead. I gotta slow down.
Got it. I missed one. I missed the question from earlier. What's
Mhm.
your favorite book?
Life of Pi.
Interesting. I've never read it. I think
Mhm.
I've watched
Ooh.
part of the movie. Never read the book.
Movie does it no justice. The book itself, when you really in tune, and you could understand the symbolism in each of the animals on that boat, Life of Pi, for sure. That's the one.
Bet. All right. Last one. What's the best advice you've ever received?
Uh, Best advice. I think the best advice I received was that always be rich in spirit. Always be rich in spirit. My grandmother would always say, like, you get your blessing if your spirit is rich, and your karma will be beautiful because of that. So be rich in spirit, and life's riches will flow abundantly, however they supposed to. So be rich in spirit, have good character, good integrity, whatever that looks like. Um, and the shorter way of saying that is what I said. Just own your shit. Own your shit. I feel like if you can own the mess, then the pretty parts of life feel a little bit more better. And yeah, yeah, own your shit.
Damn. Hey man, that's it. Um, like I said, man, I appreciate you, brother. I think this is a conversation both of us need it, and
Sure.
didn't even know it, and I'm sure it's gonna be a blessing to other people, man, and, that's why I do it, man, so that, hopefully this can be a blessing to others, but definitely it's a blessing to me, man, so thank you again, bro, for joining. This is the Grab Your Wild podcast with me, Dr. G, our guest, Troy Kyles. Appreciate you, bro. Check you next time, man.
Appreciate y'all. Peace.
Peace.